Everyone, welcome back to Mechanorn, your weekly talk on giant robots. Have usual with me, Jero.
Hey, what's up, Fosh?
Hey, what's up? And yeah, so we have the same shows, and I guess jump right into Al No Zero. It's a strange episode this week, I would say.
Yeah. Episode 4, Soldiers Pay Attack on the Burning Sand. We get what I had kind of hoped for, which is more Yuki and Marito in this episode as we get a glimpse of what they've been doing for a while. And after a flashback when we see Yuki in the hospital watching over now as he sleeps and just kind of like a moment of happiness for her when she sees that now is moving. I don't exactly understand what he was trying to do with the blanket. Was he trying to take it or something?
Yeah, I didn't know either. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think afterwards you see later on in the episode that I think she was happy to see him he was still alive, but also kind of, I guess, maybe it may have left more of an impact on her. Maybe some trauma with it because I think she avoids him for the majority of the I guess time skip. I think she stays away from him on purpose because I guess anytime she sees him, she reminds her that he almost died, and I guess
hmm
it sounds like it looks like it affected her a lot more than Inaho realizes.
hmm Yeah. How he's his lack of emotion. He doesn't really seem to show anything or any kind of worry or care for his sister, but whatever. Um, so we have that going on. We have Slane reaffirming his loyalty to Lamrina, and then we have her saying, the princess you're protecting is in front of you. But with him, he's now in this high position of being a count, but other people are very suspect of him. Of how did a guy who was just recently named Sosbaum's son and that quickly come into power? Something's fishy there, and a lot of others are thinking, we got to take this guy out. So Slane kind of realizes this and goes, I have to attack a base, and that's what we see from him in this episode is that he attacks some Earth Force bases and a couple shuttles and kind of makes it known to the the Martians that his allegiance is with them and tries to earn their trust, and so he goes out and farces and does his thing.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to see him. Like I said, a lot of people. I mean, even though the viewers all said the same thing, like how are they gonna explore this that he just became Sazbom's son. They met the same day, and Sazbom dies, and now he's a count. It's like so. It's like the audience isn't aware of it, and even the characters are aware of that something's not right. Like he just sneak his way into this rank, or how to get it? But now they're like, okay, well, obviously he's serious because he killed all those humans, so that tells me he's doesn't really care who he hurts in the process, but yeah, he's gotta stay his I guess presence to everyone that now they know, which is it's
hmm
fine. I mean, I kind of figured he had to do something, he has to kind of prove himself to them because yeah, they're all like, yeah, they don't really trust him still.
Yeah, it's for some reason I'm getting like for some weird reason like a Code Geass kind of vibe with like the Lelouch and Suzaku thing. I don't know why, but just the two characters they kind of remind me in an odd way of that.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Slane is pretty much they're both just like those kind of characters. They both have they've done these great things, but now they got to prove to everyone that they're still loyal to certain groups.
hmm And then meanwhile on Earth, we see another orbital knight get into battle. We have Count Mazurek. He's pretty much avoided fighting for his own reasons of preserving Earth's natural resources, but after being pushed by a couple other guys, other knights to take action, that's when he steps on the battlefield. And you can see when he first steps in, he's kind of a little nervous, a little uncomfortable, like this isn't what he really wants to do.
Yeah, I almost was thinking maybe we have our first pacifist Martian here who doesn't want to fight,
Yeah.
just
hmm
wants to just like you said, clip resources. And now he's being kind of almost bullied, I think, into doing this.
Yeah. And with the battle, his cataphract, what he can do with his cataphract is that he's got these balls that revolve around him and it affects the gravity in the area. So that's why Marito and Yuki and the other guys are having trouble shooting bullets at it because they're just not even getting there.
Right, and the dumbest plan I think ever I've seen in any anime is basically keep shooting them and keep walking backwards slowly and lure him away to use a satellite dish that's gonna, I guess, pinpoint the speed of this his suit. I'm like, that, I mean, it works, but I'm like, you're just wasting ammo. Like, I don't know why you guys think you could do that. It's just silly, but I'll give props to their team at least for trying. They
Yeah.
didn't go, oh, wait for Inaho. No, they actually tried to do it on their own.
And it seemed like the gravity wave that was happening was kind of affecting them a bit mentally because you had the one guy that just all of a sudden decided I'm going to charge in, and then his cataphract lost an arm and he kind of backed off, and then it was kind of affecting Yuki a bit. And as Marito was just backing, what they were trying to do was get him into the right spot that they wanted to, so that the you know how on the Deucalion would be able to do his thing, so they're backing up, and then that's when Marito gets the memories again of what we saw a lot of from the first season in his flashback, and then Inaho is Johnny on the spot hits the cataphract, takes it down, and what's nice is that this is the first orbital knight that we don't see die, so the likelihood is they're gonna take him in and question him.
Right, since he's the kind of pacifist character, he's not gonna fight back. He's probably just gonna surrender and just go along with him so he doesn't have to die or anyone else on his team dies. But yeah, it was funny seeing, it's like a giant drive-by basically in the air in space because he just like shoots one beam. He's just like, that's all I can do for you, and he leaves him, like you said. So in the technically, yeah, Marito's group, they kind of got the quote unquote kill shot, I guess.
Yeah.
While
Mm.
Inuho kind of just disabled the I guess hurricane power, whatever he was doing, and the gravity effect. So in a way, I guess
Hmm.
Marito's group they did get the kill on that, so it's pretty good that they did something. But
Yeah.
I'm a little annoyed that Marito still has his stress, but I understand. A lot of people can't get over that kind of thing that easily.
Well, they addressed it in this episode in a following scene where he's with the doctor,
Hmm.
and he mentions that the method at which it came back, it's something that Marito actually kind of uses. It's almost kind of like
Hmm.
something that makes him more alert in a when he's in a pinch, to borrow Star Driver phrasing. Um, but then that's when the doctor pours a drink and says, you can have this. You've overcome.
Right, like you said, he uses that for a almost the shonen cliche where if you're in danger, your power suddenly increases. If you have to help someone and protect them. So I guess that's what they're doing with Naruto, and I'm hoping they maybe can use that a little bit more. Maybe Naruto stands out on his own and can do more than just kind of be the side character. I think going into even in the first season, I kind of preferred him as the main character over
Hmm.
Inaho. So it's but I know they have to focus on the teenage group because that's the age range you're going for with this show. I think.
Yeah. Hmm.
Unfortunately, I mean, I think Naruto's a more interesting character than some of the other characters in the series, but it's good to see him again, I guess.
I agree. I always lean toward, the more mature and older
Hmm.
characters because there's actual story with them instead of Inaho, which is,
Right, yeah.
sometimes he feels a little OP. He's getting into that Kirito, the guy from Irregular at Magic High,
Yeah.
Tatsuya was his name.
Right, yeah, Tatsuya.
Yeah, these guys where they just feel like, they can't be stopped.
Yeah.
Although with Inaho, we've really yet to see him meet his best match whenever him and Slane truly have a showdown.
Yeah, I think this is the problem with his character is since his age range, he's he almost acts like he's seen hard war when in fact he hasn't. In my honest
Hmm.
opinion, he hasn't really seen the stuff Naruto has seen. So, therefore I think Naruto has more going for him as far as a backstory. And
Hmm.
he's seen real war, right? He's just seen, programming and simulations. So it's like, but then people would argue, well, he had friends die. Yeah, he did, but even when his friend died in season one, he had no, reaction towards that. So it's like it's kind of hard to feel bad for him. I feel
Hmm.
more bad for you for Maruto than anyone on their side right now. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree. Um, and then there was also, kind of get into some extra stuff right now. We saw Inaho wake up at the very beginning. Good to see Marito again, as we mentioned before. Yuki's back. Is she drinking?
Yeah, she was. She was like, they're having that coffee. Like the guys that had one dropped his. She just like, no, screw it. It goes like for five, six different. And she's, maybe that's how she's coping with all this. But even when she was talking to the other girl, she was kind of like, I'm not really comfortable being here. I could
Yeah.
see just by how she was acting that she'd rather
Hmm.
not be anywhere near these young kids because maybe she feels that if I'm there, maybe someone might get hurt or if she's cursed down. Maybe it's
Hmm.
Yoko from Gurren Lagann has that. Whoever she kisses, end up dying. So it's like maybe she feels that if I'm near these younger kids, maybe I'm putting them in danger.
And she thinks she's some kind of curse or something. The good thing, she doesn't have the exoskeleton around her left arm now.
Right, yeah.
That's had the time to heal over the 19 months
Right.
since the end of the first series. And then there's a nice little scene with Yuki seeing Rayet and kind of asking her, "Are you liking things?" It's okay.
It's like, yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah,
would have been like, she's got no real other place to go, so that's pretty
yeah.
funny.
So overall, in my opinion, an all right episode. A good interesting battle in which we got to see Marito and Yuki be much more a part of than usual, and we also didn't have to see any useless people die. Even considering the guy that lost his arm, he seemed to come out okay. Um, so it was good to see them at the forefront of a battle in the series, and with the capturing the Orbital Knight as a prisoner now and seeing what he's going to do, and with the rest of the group back, it feels like it's kind of a bridge to something to look forward to.
Right, I have a feeling that the captured knight is going to reveal that slaying his account, he's got more power than people already realize. He's got more pull now, and might overhear this and go, "Well, I got to challenge him to a one-on-one duel and solve this for once for all," or something
Hmm.
like that. Or maybe this peace guy will give away more information than just that. He may reveal the whole plot of the series and what's going on. So we'll see.
Mm. All right, and that has been episode 4 of All No Zero Season 2. Let's go to GBF Try.
Yep. Episode 16, Magnificent Shia, which kind of, I guess, gives an overview. Maybe it's a bit more about her than anything, but in fact, the beginning is more about Maruto. Sorry, Minato showing off his new Gunpla, which is, like we said, mentioned last week, a combination of these three different animals that transform into one called the, let me see, I have it written down, Tryon 3, which is kind of, I guess, a parody take on maybe, I guess, like Power Rangers, like robots, Voltron, or I guess super robots in general. I think that's what they're poking fun at. Because
Hmm.
like Gurren Lagann is a mech, like same thing. It starts off small and just throughout the series gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So I guess this is an example of that. And
Hmm.
everyone in the crowd's kind of just like confused. They're like they don't like it, but not so. Sekai is just kind of impressed by this new machine.
Yeah, everybody that's watching it is kind of thinking, how does that even add any attack value or anything like that? They're looking at it from the concept of actually fighting with Gunpla, but Sekai and also uh, oh shoot, what I'm blanking on the guy's name. The
Hema.
Meiwa, the
Oh yeah, yeah. Wilfred, whatever his name is, Wilfred.
no, not Wilfred, the guy with the glasses.
Oh, that's Meiji. Sorry.
Oh, Meiji, yeah,
Yeah,
where he was just like, Gunpla is freedom,
yeah.
and he just loved it. And he was impressed.
Right, yeah, I guess it's the whole cliche on the builders, taking something that no one would ever think about and then actually using it. Because if I recall, I don't think there's ever been a Gundam that actually does that in any real Gundam series. That
Hmm.
three things become one. I don't think it's ever been a Gundam thing, as far as
No.
I'm concerned. This is designed all new, all original. So I'm guessing it's a good way to deploy, new Gunpla model kits for the real world. Like you can have these three that turn into one giant robot and collect them all type thing.
Hmm.
And I like watching the fight because it showed off a bunch of different unique attacks, and they basically dominate the other team in a matter of minutes. So I guess it shows you the power of the Trion 3 is not to be messed with, and even the Gunpla Academy were calling it the Dark Horse. That this team might be someone you might look out for. And any unique spin would be actually having this team win the whole tournament would be pretty funny. but
Mm-hmm.
we know what's gonna happen with that. But still, it
Yeah.
was cool, kind of cool seeing that battle play out.
Yeah, I wonder how good the team was before Minato came in and how much better Minato makes them anyway because I mean his idea obviously seemed to work very well in this opening match of just dominating them.
Yeah, and luckily we did get a flashback of how he joined the team. 'Cause originally there were three members, but he kind of sort of had to beg and plead to get on the team. Yeah, I felt kind of bad that it's kind of a crappy way to get on the team, but I guess he has his reasons. I mean, he wants to fight Yuma again and challenge him to, see who's got the best build and all that. So it was kind of, again, that kind of crappy how he just had to beg to get on the team. It was like, I really don't like that, but it's whatever, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And we have that, and then I guess, they're kind of watching I guess all the kids are watching the replay of the tournament of the day, and Yuma gets a call from his sister. I guess he discovers that Lori might be watching the guy from season one. That he might be watching, so I'm hoping maybe he appears. I mean, maybe not. Won't be a fighter, but maybe he appear in one of the stands and kind of be cheering them on, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
help Sekai with a new upgrade or something later. Give
Yeah.
him an edge.
Well, also they were on TV. Yuma was being interviewed by
Oh yeah,
Mirai, and you could see his face. He's all, he's kind of nervous at first because, oh my God, Mirai is interviewing me, and then he kind of, he answers the questions as well as you could, and then Minato, I think Minato just got a mention or something, and he was kind of ticked off. Oh, I only got a mention.
Ray didn't get interviewed by her. He just got a name drop here at the very end of a report or something. And even some of the
Hmm.
other guys were complaining too that I know the Toma Suzaku's character was complaining that he didn't get any mention of anything at all. He was just like, they didn't even say my name. Like they're going to, and they kind of cut off to something else. So
Oh yeah,
he,
Karima,
yeah,
yeah.
so he got kind of crapped on with that too. He's like, nope, he's not important enough to get a name mentioned. So, but it's fine. He's gonna be that kind of character. But yeah, it's just cool seeing. I guess Yuma and his sister talking about Lori. Maybe he
Hmm.
might. I'm hoping he appears, but we'll see. Then
Yeah,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I just that would be cool.
Yeah, it would be nice to see that. And after that, we get like this battle montage. I guess basically showing off the different types of maps you get. And there's one like there's a cave, like underwater cave they're fighting in. There's like a feudal castle, which I like that one. It's really cool.
Yeah. One of them looked like an episode of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, there's like this World War II type area, maybe like France or Germany or whatever, and they're fighting like basically like a Call of Duty match or something in this, like a modern city that we see in today. So it's kind of cool to see the maps. I think, like I said, my favorite was the feudal castle. Remind me of like this. I don't know if you played. It's an old ninja game where you run around the castles and stuff. Uh, it comes to me later, but I like that.
Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, probably that one, but yeah, it was kind of cool to seeing these full-scale Gundams like in this, castle. Like, kind of interesting to see the maps they have.
Hmm.
And after we have the big montage of all these fights, we just showed off a bunch of the new suits. But we had the Gunpla Academy is basically their round to fight, and they're getting ready to set to do the 3-on-3 fight, and they pull out last minute that she has to fight by herself because I guess she was late completing her Gunpla, so
Hmm.
she has to fight this battle armor by herself, and like that's kind of crappy, but I guess because I guess their motto is they work as a team, but it also took us being a little cocky too in front of everybody. Like we don't need all three of us to beat you guys. Like damn.
Yeah, that's that would be in sports that would be a penalty for to not enough people on the field. Um,
Right,
it's a level of respect that was not kept by the Gunpla Academy.
right. They're just being like, oh, we don't need all three of us fight, but she is fine. She's basically solos the other team by herself. But I would take it more as a one-on-one battle anyway because the other one was a mobile armor, so it kind of didn't really matter if she had two extra people helping her or not.
Hmm. And also, she just flat out dominated them
Yeah, like
the
in,
rest of
to the
beats.
point where she was like almost saying that she didn't want to do the finishing blow on him because she felt bad for his gunpla. She didn't want to, hurt it. Basically, what her feeling was. And I looked at her suit as kind of like I would say a combination of all the Gundams from Double O. They even had the big shield and it was fast and was slick. So I guess it was just overall a nice design. Hers, I like that one.
Hmm. Yeah, it incredibly fast too, and she wasn't even using Trans Am mode, uh, kind of like what we saw from the first fight with the Tri Fighters, where the guy went into Trans Am mode, but Yuma was just so fast in its Lightning's natural state.
Right, so it kind of gives maybe she's gonna be the speed one on their team, while you
Hmm.
have the other two, maybe with the brute force and the firepower. She's definitely the fast one. And I was trying to see if she would be paired up with Sekai as far as speed goes. I'm not sure if Sekai is fast, but I don't know. It's gonna be interesting seeing them fight eventually. But I guess we got a while till that happens.
Hmm.
And the episode kind of ends with I guess Sekai actually talking to Shi, and they say each other's names and everything. So I guess they're setting up that maybe another possible relationship going on here with
Like
those two.
the love triangle now.
Yeah, so be interesting to see what happens with that. Extras, there's stuff like Minato and she is Gunpowder, just really interesting. Both different, vastly different designs, and she
Hmm.
is, like I said, fast and just very, very powerful.
Whereas Minato's is much more of the eccentric nature, wanting to show off, combining Gattai with Gunpla.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to seeing that. And she, I guess, again, for me, just continues to be this interesting, cute character that I was
Hmm.
not expecting much from her, but I hope she does more. But we'll see. I think right now she's just gonna be this battler who just fights, and maybe they have an episode they kind of mess around with Sekai and her going out somewhere and just hanging out.
There's a girl from the previous season that I've seen pictures of,
Hmm.
like Aaliyah or something like
Right.
that. Are those two kind of the similar type of characters?
Sort of similar, yeah. Even though the one from season one's got a different backstory, but ultimately they are kind of the same. I even thought, they might be related, but they're not because they're different names. Because
Hmm.
I did think it funny that in this first half, same thing. It's like the second half of season one, they introduced that new character. She has white hair and everything. It's like, and they did the same thing with this one. So I'm like, it's got to be some kind of connection, but nah, I think
Oh yeah.
they're just
Hmm.
going for a different type of character with her. But it's pretty cool. And the last thing I mentioned is Sekai just so easily impressed. He just, I don't think it takes much to impress him.
Yeah. He's like Luffy from One Piece.
Yeah, that's true. I do see that
He
comparison.
kind of sees things and is like, "Oh my god, so cool."
Yeah, like when Frankie revealed he's the mecha that he built.
Yeah. Or like Brooke.
Right, yeah. So it's like anything out there interesting just appeals to him more than anyone else. While everyone else is kind of like, that's not that great looking. Especially Minato is like, you know, Power Ranger robots. Like, okay, it works. But so overall, what do you think of that episode?
I thought it was a fun episode. It was nice to see not only the Minato and that academy, uh, the full detail of their try on, but also seeing some of the other fights and like you mentioned some of the other stages. I like seeing that. Kind of gives us a bit of an idea of what to expect as we see more matches. The sitting around, that was kind of fun seeing Yuma be interviewed on TV, and of course Shio showed off just how dominant of a force her, and eventually whenever the Gunpla Academy decides to use Free Fighters will be dominant. So it was a fun episode.
Yeah, I think so. I can't wait to see them when they all actually go, all three of them go all out, and fight, and I'm hoping that Sekai's team can be a little more aggressive too and fight back, and it's just gonna be an interesting fight when they get down to it. But
Hmm.
I'm hoping next week's gonna be, which is already out now, but to be more laid back and calm. But I saw the screenshots already. There's a couple big fights going on this week, so
Yeah, I'm wondering, that'll be fun to see as we progress through the Tri-Fighters and their progression for the tournament, is seeing all the different ways in which they've evolved, because we see teams like Minato looked really good, and everybody else, the Gunpla Academy, of course, was very impressive. To see how the Tri-Fighters can up their game each round.
right. Yeah, I'm sure they haven't shown off all their abilities yet and all their skills that they kind of practiced on. Because that's what I felt with when they first started showing off the new suits. They just going all out. I'm like, surely they've got some of the things saved. I hope so anyway. They won't show everyone like their hand, like, oh, this is what we can do. and now you can figure a way to counter it. But yeah, Crossrange episode 17, The Black Angel of Destruction. Now, this episode kind of picks up with I guess in Hot Springs, they discover that I guess it's underground. And they found out the dragon's basically under the temple. What they want to do, so they gotta recapture it. That's the mission. So they plan this attack, and of course Ange isn't really sure about it. I guess her and Tusk about to leave and go back to their world and basically assist in the attack, but they get there and they're basically ambushed because I guess Embryo caught the other girl, and I guess she told them about the plan, all the attacks and all that. So all three, Tusk, Ange, and Vivian are going back home to their world, and like I said, they go through the portal and they think everything's fine, but then they get jumped by a bunch of new paramills that just pop out of nowhere, and they're like purple and black, and just like embryos, they're kind of powerful, and they start picking off the dragons left and right, start killing a bunch of them. And that's when Ange kind of screams and tells Salamander to, pull back and retreat, plan your attack again next time. And they kind of slowly withdraw, leaving Ange, Tusk, and all them behind to fight. And there's this big old, I guess, fight between Tusk and Ange fighting these, I guess, three paramills that are trying to capture her. I guess that was the main plan of Embryo to capture Ange, bring her in. So, have those three suits that they reveal there later. They're basically the friends that I guess Ange used to be with in the prison. So, the three of them are kind of, I think, brainwashed. Maybe, but I'm not sure. They're acting kind of weird. So they're trying to capture her. So the whole time is basically about her being captured. What they're trying to do. And, while that's going on, they have, before they can successfully attack her and bring her in, Tusk kind of charges in and distracts the three of them, and Ange gets free while they cut these ropes they're trying to tie her up with, or suit up with. And she kind of uses her power and I guess, teleports them all away to safety. So they kind of get away with leaving the Ange kind of confused on what happened to her friends and why are they attacking her all of a sudden. Which leads me again to believe that Embryo's brainwashed them. He's got them under his control or something, and he's just keeping them locked into working for him. So, but yeah, again, like I said, Rise was captured, so they have the information on what's going on. And so yeah, so it was nice seeing Ange finally step up and attack back. But right now it's again Embryo being the overpowered character he is. He's just kind of I guess holding all the cards right now while Ange is struggling to figure out what's going on. At the end, they did reveal that a few of them haven't been taken over by Embryo. I think they come up through the water, I guess, and they kind of freak Ange out. I guess she gets scared, and of course, they kind of reveal that they're the girls in the prison, and one of them grabs a hold of Tusk and just is like, "So you are a man." So I was kind of confused on that last bit. That what's going on with that? Why they treating Tusk this way? Is there something more he's not telling everyone? Maybe he's not from that world. I don't know, but I don't think they're gonna do that. But yeah, it's very weird to see what happens. And yeah, so it's cool to see the characters come back, and I guess next week we get to see Ange talk to the other girls and the ones that escaped in the submarine and figure out what's going on with them. So definitely getting very interesting. I mean, I think we're getting close to the end here. This being 17, so I think we have maybe 4 or 5 episodes left till the end of this series. But yeah, that's been Cross Ange and Print Mechanorn. So I guess I'll talk to you guys next time.